still in the crib trying to put music together. The only things that were really going on were like the How Can I Be Down conference or the Jack the Rapper. But those things happened out of the state, so we never had a chance to be a part of that. There finally ended up being like a How Can I Be Down conference here in Houston. But by that time, we'd already had a record deal. So for us, there wasn't really a lot of opportunities as an up-and-coming artist to really be seen and be heard like in a formal sense, as far as like a showcase or a place where people came to see new talent. You just had to try to find you a club promoter that would hold you down. Hopefully somebody you was on the north side, and you try to get somebody to get you to Captain Jack or somebody and try to get you on stage at the Rhinestone, or if you do somebody on the south side, try to get with Big Steve or Steve Fournier or Ray Barnett, one of these guys, and try to get into one of the clubs that they had popping at the time. That was really the only outlet for an artist in Houston at the time. Showcases in the city didn't come till years later.
Wow. So, I'm a big fan, you know what I mean? First and foremost, love what y'all have been up to.
Much appreciated.
Just love, yeah, give it up, come on now. Let's do it. At a time, I always try to explain to like young people, we're around the same age, 73, and it's like, I try to get them to understand.
Born in 73.
Yeah, but not 73. But like,
maybe combined.
I try to get people to understand, for everyone to imagine what it was like before the internet, like before YouTube, before Twitter, before it was easy to promote to, 10,000 people with the click of a button, when you really had to be out there. So I want to take it back to like those days and really starting with your name. How did you get your name, Bun B?
I got my name back. There was a time in hip hop, probably around 85, 86, where the initials came in, where you used to see the Eric B, Derek B, Johnny J, and all these different things. So my nickname at the time was Bunny. That was my family nickname, was Bunny. That's a whole other story we're not getting into today. But as as I got older, became a teenager, and started hanging with friends or whatever, people did not like introducing me, like, yo, this is my boy Bunny, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was just not cool. And so, a good friend of mine, Scion 10yr, he was a very, very big hip-hop head at the time, and he was like, man, we gotta give you a rap kind of name. You need like a rap name. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So we went through a bunch of different names that had nothing to do with Bunny, and then it came back around to it was like Bun B. I was like, okay, so we tried Bun B for a couple of weeks, and that just gave people more jokes. And we finally realized, like, it's the bunny. Like, we got to do something with the bunny. Like that shit's not gonna flow. And eventually, because he had his rap name was Ran T. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just do Bun B, Ran T. And that was just
that's cool.
Basically what happened. Otherwise, it would have been Bunny B from UGK.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Which probably wouldn't have lasted past the first EP.
Right. But all that hardcore shit,
yeah, Bunny B and Pimp C. I don't know if that's shit. Bunny B and Pippy.
Right. So speaking of, your other half, the incredible Pimp C, how did you meet your partner? Yes, please give it up. Rest in peace. How did you guys meet?
Well, I'm from a small town. We're from a very small town, Port Arthur, Texas. It's a school that, thank you. Port Arthur appreciates that, I'm sure. I'll let them know. And it was, like, again, it was a small town, and everybody knows everybody. So even if you don't personally know a person, you probably are friends with their cousin, or, their uncle, or their big brother, little brother, something like that, to that effect. In Pimp's case, everybody knew Pimp because his mother was the librarian and his stepfather was the choir director. So both his parents taught at school, so everybody knew who he was based on that. And once he started doing the music, his reputation, grew very fast in the city. There were already people who were rapping in Port Arthur at the time. One of the first people to make a rap song in Port Arthur was Mr. Boomtown, who now does, I don't know if a lot of you watch videos, he does a lot of the rap. If you've ever seen a Gucci Man video, he did that. Right? He did other things as well. He did the Your Everything video for the UGK. He's done a lot of different stuff with me. He's an incredible director. But he started as an MC, so he was one of the guys I looked up to. And Pimp was one of the last guys to get into, like, of the first people that started rapping where we were from, he was the last guy to get in that first bunch. And he was the youngest, so they used to like give him a lot of shit. So he, at the time his name was MCC. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And this is, you gotta understand, he's a sophomore, so he's like 16 years old. So there was an incident that happened. I don't want to get into it because I gotta save some shit for the book. But suffice it to say, he was at school, something happened at school with him and a young lady. He got caught, and it became like an infamous tale in school because, 10th grade. And after that, he changed his name from MCC to MC. So you gotta understand, in 1989,
in 10th grade,
in the 10th grade, when a 16-year-old kid to call himself a pimp was, it was mind-blowing to say the least. But he felt a certain way, and he, from the age of 16 till the day he left us, he was Pimp C. He stuck with it, and so I knew about the tale. I knew his parents, and I started rapping myself. And my parents lived in Houston. Well, my father lived in Houston. My parents got divorced. So I would go to Houston. I would get all the mixtapes, all the different albums, tape radio shows, come back and bring them out and let people hear stuff. So we had a mutual friend, Mitchell Queen, who was one of the original members of UGK. But before we were UGK, so I would bring, pictures back. I bring all this stuff back. And Mitch with your pimp, like, yo, you don't know Bun? You know Bun? Like, he got all the music. Man, I don't know that. I don't want to know that dude. So initially, I didn't like Pimp C. He didn't like me. We were very different people. And one day we finally talked at a football game. And Mitch was like, yeah, this Bun, man. Bun is a cool dude. And Pimp was like, yeah, man, I hear you be thinking you got all the live songs and think you doing it big, man. I don't think you doing what you say you doing. So I started pulling out pictures and like, yeah, this me. I snuck in the club. That's me and Eazy-E and DOC right there. And this is the new Public Enemy song. You know what I'm saying? And all these different records. So he finally had to give me my card. And then when I went with him and he saw him doing music and writing rhymes, I was like, yo, this little dude is better than everybody else doing this shit. Like, hands down. So when I decided I wanted to make music, initially I started with another guy, Jalon, and Mitchell and Chad were together, and I was like, yo, I want to make music with y'all. So we put our two groups together, and we changed. He was, we became a group called 4BM, and then as the years went on, we got more serious about it. Pimp and I got more serious about it. The other two guys got less serious about it, so they just kind of dropped out the group, and it was just me and Pimp, and we believed in each other. We didn't know what the future held, but we was like, we'll just stay down with each other, see if we can make a record, have a little fun, and then go on with our lives. It didn't really work like that. One record led to 8.
It's great.